beautiful souls. Keep to the side. I am so excited for today's live session because of her. I'll just wait for a while till people join in, and I'm super excited for today's session. So is Snowy. I'll just wait for a while till people join in. Meanwhile, you guys can let me know if my voice is audible and if you can see us. Today's session is really special because we have planned something really different and something really cool. Today we'll have a dog trainer with us. She is an amazing person who has been working as a dog trainer, and we'll have her on board today for our session, and we will be trying to find out the commonalities between mental health and dog training. So I invite my friend to join me live. Just give us a moment. Come here. Come.
Hey,
Hi. Hello. So nice to see you.
same here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good too. I'll just get my dogs to get up. Because this is 9 p.m. So yeah, so this is mostly like their time to rest. They've done all their
Yes.
madness. Yeah. So this one is
Aww.
Maya.
Hi, Maya. I'll
She's
take
going.
a screenshot of this cute baby. Oh,
Zoe.
look at it. I'm sure she
And
can't see us. Easy. You want to show your cute toy?
oh, so cute. This is Arya.
Oh, hi. So sweet. It's so adorable.
Yeah, they are amazing.
So cute.
Now
Oh,
both of them are
look at that. Whose birthday is it tomorrow? You mentioned in one of the stories.
this
Ah.
one. It's going to be fun.
Wonderful.
And yeah, it's a big day for her and us. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
How young will she be turning? Superb.
First birthday.
Wonderful. ये अभी
Yeah.
3 साल की हुई है मैडम.
Oh.
Look at her. She's all busy with her Kong.
She's quite playful. That's so nice.
Yeah, right now because I'm giving her treats. That's it.
Oh.
Otherwise, I think they're also going through the lockdown issue, you know.
Absolutely. I think these guys, my job was such that I used to be, okay, she's put the camera now. My job was such that I used to be home during the daytime, and so they were never alone before, but now
Yeah.
they just follow me around all the time. Wherever I'm sitting, they're there.
All right. That's wonderful. So,
Yeah.
oh, it's over. You've had all the things. खत्म हो गया. खत्म. अच्छा है इसमें. Oh, all right. Okay. Give it to me. We were making fun of her. You'll go on Instagram. No way.
Yeah, I know. More people know my dogs. I mean, I have more people who know my dogs than people who know me.
Yeah.
So I have, when I go downstairs, especially in my parents' society, when I go downstairs, there are kids asking me, "Where's Kiara? Where's Kiara? Aaj Kiara nahi aayi." Kiara is the name of their dog.
Yeah.
So they keep asking, "Where's Kiara? Where's Noddy?"
It's
So
the
yeah.
same with us because she's our first pet. So we are like recent pet parents. She just turned 3 years old recently. And हमारी कॉलोनी में सब लोग ऐसे जानते हैं कि स्नोई की बहन है, ये स्नोई के पापा है, ये स्नोई की मामा है. They don't know us. Although we have staying here for good 30 years or something.
Oh my
35
God.
years. अब story की identity हो गई है. So yeah, my mama also joined in. Thank you everybody for joining in. And I completely forgot the chat. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and energy of coming up with this special session that we planned. And I'll give you some time to introduce yourself, what kind of work you're doing, and what has been your life journey around
Of,
these beautiful beings.
of course. So I am a dog trainer and a behaviorist. I am
Mm-hmm.
based out of Gurgaon, and so I mean, um, I got into this because I used to rescue dogs, and it's a weird story. So I went to college to do what I really wanted to do, which is I wanted to do masters in climate science because I was very passionate about all of this. But then one day I was going back home and there was this tiny litter of these tiny puppies. There were about 15 of them, and they had been dumped on the side of the road. So they were so
Okay.
tiny that first I thought that these are rats. So I mean, they were
Oh
all
my God.
scurrying on the road, and I was driving there, so I had to stop my car. And then I
Hmm.
found out that they're pups. So I found out one of them has maggots. So started rescuing
Okay.
from there, and then it became such a strong. You just form such a strong connection with dogs that it just never goes right. So got a few adopted. Few of them came under cars. You know how it is, and. That's where it all started. And
Okay.
then I ended up rescuing this dog, this puppy who was born right outside my house.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I don't know, he was an indie, but he was a very good looking indie. So, and I don't know why he never found a home, but I tried to keep him. And at that point, I was going through something of my own. So, he sort of got me out, he got me motivated to go and work and earn something and uh, you know just just get up and move. And that was such a big thing that he got me out of that. But the sad part was that yes, my name is Aishani. Sorry, somebody's asking, I didn't get your first name. My name is
And
Aishani.
what's the meaning of your name? Because I've heard this name for the first time. I was really interested in knowing the meaning of your name.
Aishani means it's one of the names of goddess Durga.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how many names there are of Goddess Durga, but it's one of the names.
Yeah,
But she has a lot of names, I guess. But
yeah, yeah.
anyway, so then, I got this dog home, and I had two
Mm-hmm.
older dogs already at that point, and then I mean, the dogs just didn't get along. Okay, so there were a lot of issues with this new puppy that I faced. He was all bitey, and I didn't really understand dog psychology at all at this point, right? And I'm still doing my masters, and eventually the saddest part was that I had to give him up. Although where he is, the family he's with now takes excellent care of him, and I'm happy that he found a good place and he found a good home. Like I
All
said,
right.
he was extremely good looking, dashing guy, and his name is Floyd.
Floyd.
So
Okay.
yeah, so that's how it started. And then I started looking up courses. I wanted to. There was so much information on the internet because when I was trying to read up on what to do with Floyd, there was
Hmm.
some part that somewhere there was written that you should use force. Somewhere it was written that you should not use force and do training, and it was all
Yeah.
very confusing. So I started looking for courses, and then I went to. I found out about Shirin Merchant's course, which is
Mm-hmm.
held in Mumbai, and that was the first. That was actually the second course I did. The first one I did was with a one-day course with Canine School,
All right.
and then after Shirin Merchant's course, I formally became a dog trainer. Um, and it was a whole thing where I quit my job, and I had just been working for a year maybe. So I quit my job, and then my parents were like, "Nahi, what will happen if you become a dog trainer? I don't know." Because it's not a very common profession, of course,
Right.
right? So that's how it started. But then then I did a second course in dog behavior.
Hmm.
Um, and I got very interested in understanding how how they think. So I always had an interest about how human beings think. I mean, in terms of getting some predictability out of them. So I used to I was one of those kids who would sit and look at people and try to observe what's going on in their heads and why they do what they do.
Yeah.
But with animals, it was a completely different connection. I mean, and I got very interested in knowing that, why is what is positive reinforcement, how is it used, what's negative reinforcement, and why is it used, and is it okay or not okay. So these days, because of the lockdown, my focus has been on attending seminars and doing courses about understanding positive reinforcement. And
Right.
I don't know if you know about this book. It's called Coercion and its Fallout. um, it's it's
Oh, what is that? Oh,
it's it's
it
by
felt like a fallout. Yeah. All right. What is
so
it about?
it's about how the use of coercion is,
Hmm.
it's there in everyday life when we interact with each other, and when we have any kind of a relationship with somebody. A lot of
Hmm.
times we use coercion and other such techniques, and how
Yeah.
basically even human beings never take out the time to understand, okay, this person did something nice for me, so I'll I'll appreciate it or give some feedback. We normally tend to notice the negative stuff, right? Like, this person has done something bad, so now I don't like this person. And it's wonderful to see how dog and human psychology is related, but then also not related. So we
Right.
can't
Right.
treat them like human. I mean, we should not treat them like human babies, but every animal, I think, thinks in a, I mean, the whole learning theory happens in a similar way. It's very interesting. And
Yeah.
I mean, till now, whatever my experience has been, um, it's like I still don't know anything. It's such a great learning opportunity. It's amazing, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And this brings me to my psychology lessons that whenever the entire psychological experiments and all these things, wherever theories were made, it was first experimented on animals. So we basically are evolved animals.
Yeah,
We are humans, but we are
of
just evolved
course.
animals. And yes, we are related in so many manner, so many ways. You've very rightly pointed out. So according to you, I'm sure you have lot of points, lots of points. However, five big reasons of having a doggo at home, or probably five reasons to be connected with animals.
Um, okay. I think the first reason is that they are they're so selfless in their love, right? So the kind of feedback they can give, I think even us as human beings cannot give, because we have our own lives, and we're going in. Nobody has the time these days to basically, um, you know, you come back after a tiring day. You know what I mean, right? Nobody has
Yeah.
the time to sit and uh, listen properly, and but the kind of feedback that a dog is going to give you when you come back home, the kind of love the dog can give you when you come back home, is just
Yes.
another thing.
Right.
You feel like you're the most special person in the whole world. So I think they make us feel so special. Any pet for that matter, we are their whole lives, so
Right.
they just make us, I mean, it's just out of the world, that feeling. The second reason is that uh, I think the companionship that they give to
Yeah.
us. They So many dogs help children who cannot, who have learning disabilities, children who have speech disabilities, to learn and to be confident, because they can be themselves in front of animals. They can be themselves with their dogs, with their pets. That is another reason that they just boost your confidence just by being there, even if they're not happy. Or I mean, even if they're not like bouncing around you all the time, like mine are just sitting next to me. But and I think the whole dynamics, it just gives you. The third point would be, it gives you a sense of responsibility, right? When you take care of a pet, you realize that you have to wake up in the morning, whether it's cold or hot or whatever it
Right.
is, because the dog needs to go, and you have to go and walk them, whether you're feeling lazy or you're feeling active. And
Yeah.
that's another reason they keep you fit. They
Yeah.
keep you, yeah, exactly. All dogs are therapy dogs, right?
Yeah.
They're just freelancing therapy dogs.
Absolutely, yes. And
uh,
Arjit has mentioned, he was asking that are you guys feeding street dogs during this lockdown? So he is a very special friend of mine. I did a session with him as well, and he has been into training and mountaineering big time. And
oh wow.
it was so pleasant to have him on board. We talked about humanity at large, and he very rightly pointed out that we should feed dogs who are on street right
Absolutely.
now. And you won't believe, Arjit, and you won't believe, Aishani, that so many people got inspired after the session and they started feeding dogs.
Wow, that's
And this is
amazing.
something he pointed out, and even I realized probably I'm not feeding them regularly. And yes, we made a decision to do that. And Arjit, thank you
Wow.
so much. And we are all trying to do our bit. Dogs never differentiate whosoever you may be. Absolutely correct. And I think they give more love to people who need love, and people. I think they sense vibe, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely, they do. They just know, like, even I've seen, even when my dogs were little and they were bouncy and they were puppies, and
Yeah,
they would go to anybody and start saying hi. I realized that if somebody was not interested, like especially Arya when she was little,
yeah.
I remember we had a party where there were about 15-20 people, and she
Mhm.
was so intelligent about it. She was just 5 months old. She went to
Yeah.
each person and she could sense that this person does likes me, this person does not want to talk to me, and she left them alone. And I was amazed, because she's it's another episode to see when anybody they know come home, like they're bouncing on furniture, and Arya pees out of happiness.
Yeah.
And all.
That's
Yeah, so it's wonderful to watch.
Yeah, so she's my friend Petra from Germany joining in. She's also a pet parent and she rescued a dog. And her story
Wow,
is similar because, and I feel we don't rescue dogs, dogs rescue us. And this is
absolutely.
something which our entire family believes in. So I'll just take a moment to tell you her story.
Yeah.
I have always wanted a dog, right? Since from like childhood, I was crazy about them, and I used to go downstairs and pick up random puppies and bring them
Yeah.
home. And Mama, Papa used to be like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. This and that." I didn't know, so I used to love dogs like crazy, and I had this sense of, oh my god, she's stealing treats. No, I forgot. Just a second, I forgot to pause.
Yeah, yeah.
Clever. I forgot the drawer opener. Nice. So, dogs are super smart. Mind pieces is really super so sweet. That's so amazing. So, I had this particular thing in mind that I want a puppy who should be white in color, this particular size, probably a little brown, a little white, and it should have like three dots, like eyes and nose, and
Yeah.
no other black spots or no other spots as such.
Yeah.
I wanted something very specific and should be like Pomerian, but it should be very bold because I don't want a toy dog who can't really bark at people or who can't be smart enough. And whoever I spoke to, all the vets or other dog owners, they were like, "This such a breed does not exist. They just forget about it." I was like, "Okay," but I really want that particular one. And you won't believe, we guys were on our way to this thing, Dharamshala, and we were coming back, and we had a plan to stay in Chandigarh and then come to Delhi. So on the highway, we guys were driving. I was with my brother and Mama, Papa, all four of us were driving, and we saw a ball of
Oh,
cotton rolling on the street. She was running around like crazy. And we just
Yeah.
pulled over, my brother pulled over, and we discovered that it's a puppy. Where did she
Oh.
come from? We had no idea.
Yeah.
And we just got out of the car and we tried to see what's going on. There was one bike which also, stopped by, and she got scared and hit between the tires. And, she was like very scared. Those guys picked her up, and I also went outside, and we were like, oh my God, what is this supposed to be? How adorable is this puppy? We just thought we'd click a photo and, probably she has a
Yeah.
family around or something. But we could not find anybody. And that highway was such that on one side it was cliff and the other side was mountain. It was a very fast moving highway. So it was not safe to, leave her there. We tried to figure out for about half an hour to 1 hour who this belongs to, where did she come from, what is the history, nothing. No leash, nothing, no history. Nobody knew about her. So we decided to move ahead. And after some time, we discovered there is no place to, leave her like that. And she just stole our heart. And my mama papa were usually against, not having a dog. Ki kaun pura responsibility lega. And we
Yeah.
guys used to travel a lot. And everybody's working and this and that. But then she did some magic on everybody and they were mesmerized. And I was the one, what is happening? I didn't understand, but these guys were all taken, on a different world altogether. And we
Yeah.
got her home. We cancelled all our bookings in Chandigarh and everything. My brother drove for good 14 hours at a stretch with
Wow.
breaks, to help her. And we reached her for around 2:30 at night. And we were up entire night. My father especially, he was up entire night. And in the morning, we went to the vet to figure out if she can survive in Delhi. Should we keep her because ये तो पहाड़ी है, कितने मोटी. She was like ball of fur. And then those guys said she's so amazing because bone density and all of those सब कुछ basic check किया. They were like, oh my God, इतनी अच्छी breed है. I mean, how please रखो इसको, your life will change. And he was so right. Our lives did change. We figured out so many good things. I mean, it's tremendous transformation, I
Yeah,
feel.
I know.
इतना
I know.
responsibility आता है, इतना I don't know, it's like raising up a kid and this one won't ever grow up, I
Exactly.
think.
I know. I know. Like I remember my first dog, it was he's still there. He's a pug, but he's now around 12 and a half years old. And when we got him, I was the same, okay? I used to pick up puppies and I used to like bring them home, and I used to beg my parents, please rakh lete hain. And then my mom used to be like, nahi rakhenge, because she was actually scared of dogs, okay? Like she
Okay.
would see a dog and go, ah, that scared. So when we got, and she said chota dog chahiye, I don't want a big dog, I cannot handle it. We said okay, and she could not believe that my dad and I actually found a pug who was up for adoption, because his family was anyway going to sort of give him away. They said they had some breathing issues because of his fur.
Alright.
And
Right.
and the day we got him home, my mom he was on a leash, and my mom was all scared, and she went from one side, and she just saw him and she was like, chalo theek hai, I'm not going to meet this guy. To today, when
Yeah.
my mom is, she goes out and feeds street dogs. They have 3 home and I have 2 here, and so there are 5 in total, and they're all our dogs. It's so I take care
Wow.
of their meals, I take care of what they're eating and their health and stuff. And my parents, whenever we travel, my parents come and they take care of these girls. So I mean,
Yeah.
the dogs have so totally changed my mom. And the most recent dog we adopted him from Mumbai. My sister stays there. And I
Hmm.
had gone when I had gone for the course. My friend and I visited this shelter, and there was this little pug, okay? And his name was Pogo. So my sister said, no, 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 I really like this dog. And Noddy and Pogo will sound so cute together. She intended to keep him in Mumbai, but he had seizures and he had epilepsy. So she got really scared. She was all alone doing this by herself. So she said, why don't you guys take him? He stays in Delhi and he is so attached to my mother for some reason. We can never figure it out. He'll come he'll be sleeping in one corner. My mom will be on the other side of the room. He'll come and check on my mom, and we literally tell her he's checking your vitals, okay? Breathing is okay, pulse is okay, blood pressure okay. Okay, I'll go back. 5 minutes later, he'll come again and be like, okay, she's okay, I'll go back. And they just found such an amazing bond that every day I call her, she's like, Pogo ne aaj ye kiya, and Pogo is doing this. It's just so amazing. I mean, if a person like my mother can change, I think anybody, I mean, a dog can change anybody. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
true. Even we
Yeah,
laugh at these things, the entire day. Either we're talking about Snowy, or we are with Snowy, or we're
yeah,
looking at Snowy, or we're,
yeah.
if she's sleeping, we're looking at her pictures. And it's been like 3 years. We've been so obsessed with her,
I
so
know,
obsessed with her.
I
And
know.
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of viewers joining in who have pets. And if you do, please write in their names so that we know they're also watching. These guys with us. All parents are like that, and then you should see them after. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
ये मम्मी के
that's
तकिए पे
right.
मम्मी के साथ सोती है, मम्मी पापा के बीच में, और on the same pillow. She's that little baby. And the funny part is, usually we say that when a baby comes home, a human child comes home, the dog becomes jealous. But in my case,
Yeah.
it was the opposite. you know, I become jealous of her. How is she getting so much of love? This is too much.
I know the things they get away with, and as opposed to what we got away with, it's just like, कोई बात नहीं उसने किया, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really funny things that Noddy has done in life, and my mom has been like, चलो कोई बात नहीं, let it be. But if we do it, yeah, not the same thing. I completely sympathize with you.
Yeah. And Anya started messaging. Yeah, knowing where was it? My father was injured in the Kargil war. Kanya. The next day, our dog, man, passed away. People said the dog. Yeah, even I have heard this story. I don't know from how many people, and I'm not pretty sure about how true it is. I don't know. I mean, you would be a better person to speak on that. But then even I have heard that when dogs come home, they sort of absorb all the negative vibes of the entire house, and they take the I don't know, the karma or the pain onto themselves, and probably that's the reason why their life is shorter, and they sort of take that. Is that true? I mean, have you heard have you heard of incidences like that?
I don't think I have, but I know that. I mean, they definitely take out all the negativity, right? When they come, they're all, um, even if like it's difficult to keep and it's difficult to sort of manage. Uh, uh,
Hmm.
just till yesterday, there were four dogs in my house. These two and two others, and both are fosters. So and sometimes they don't get along, and meal times were chaotic. But I think just the fact that they're present in the house just feels so nice, and just the part where in the morning you'll wake up and they'll be waiting, like these two are waiting at my door because I am the one to wake up the last. So they've already
Yeah.
had their breakfast and they've done everything, and then they're waiting at my door. Okay, uthegi and I'll oh, door open karegi, and they jump on me and they're so happy to see me. What negativity will exist in your mind if you have that first thing in the morning, right? But I've also heard. I mean, I haven't heard incidences, but I've heard that they take your things away. They
Yeah.
take your pain away, and that's why you know what
Hmm.
happens. And I remember the very first dog of ours that passed away. He was a beagle, and that's his name, Chip.
Hmm.
And he was one of those beagles that were tested on in labs. So and it was such a I don't know, it was such a different experience because he was extremely intelligent like any other beagle. So my sister would stay in Mumbai, and whenever she would come, he would turn around, like she would enter through the door, and this guy will turn around and look at me and be like, "Get lost." Woo! You will get angry. And when she leaves in 2 3 days, then he'll become I'll become his favorite. But
Uh-huh.
he keep changing sides. So तू है तो ठीक है and वो है तो वो ठीक है. You're not. I don't care about you. So
Yeah.
that was he was very intelligent, but he got this kidney problem thing, and yeah, they can uh, they are amazing. I mean, even though he used to sort of, I feel like he used to have this love-hate relationship with me when my sister was there. It was a hate, and but I got the opportunity to take care of him, and
Yeah.
we miss him nonetheless, always. So yeah, they can.
That's true. Yeah. Arjun is
Someone
very
has
right.
written.
He's also a pet parent, so he has also rightly pointed out that yes, they do get to know about the natural calamities. And this so intelligent. This recent incident happened in December. My brother actually stays abroad, so he came back home after 1 year. And it was so strange. We made an entire plan, that he will enter the house and he'll hide somewhere, and I'll lock her in another room, and she'll probably discover what just happened. She figured out where he was, and she recognized
Wow.
him, and she went all bonkers. And I think yesterday we were watching the video again because I made the entire video of her running around the thing. It was so wonderful, and we were so proud of her that she remembers him even after 1 year. That's a very long time.
Yeah,
We did
yeah.
not expect that to happen.
They
So
never forget. That's
yeah,
true.
and there's
So,
surely freelance therapy dogs like you mentioned. However,
absolutely.
have you come across any formal official therapy dogs, or are you
Uh,
associated with any organization like that? Who does?
I am not. I have, however, come across the dogs that are there at cafes that are therapy dogs,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
and at airports. So that definitely
Right.
helped me. There are therapy dogs on Mumbai airport, and I'm a nervous flyer, so just the
Okay.
sight of dogs definitely helps. And I've heard wonderful things that therapy dogs do. I mean, just the magnitude of the amazingness that I mean the difference that they can bring out in a person, and the way they assistance dogs, they assist blind people, they assist people who have walking disabilities. It's just amazing. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's this Netflix series or there's another series called Puppies or the Litter or something like that, and
Okay.
they showed the whole journey of how a litter of 6 puppies grew up and were trained to become assistance dogs, and uh, few passed the test, few did not. It was so great to watch. It's
Yeah, yeah,
rigorous,
yeah.
the
This
training.
Pixar movie are you talking about? The animated one? Pixar
No, no, no.
animated movie?
It's not an
Oh, it's some
animated
other
movie.
series? Okay.
It's non-animated. Yeah.
All right, all right. There is one animated movie which was made by Pixar. I was working at Tihar Jail for about 2 years. So there I showed the inmates this movie, and it was so
Wow.
amazing because it's animated and one can relate to it. It's all about one a puppy who wants to become a therapy dog, but he's not able to do the formal training very properly because his height is not as much as is required. And then he discovers that there was one lady who could not see, but she was trying to cross a road, but there was a truck coming up on the road, and he ran and saved her. So it was all about you don't need a formal training always in your life, but it's more to
Yeah.
do with your wisdom and your presence of mind and your intention to serve the society. That was such a beautiful movie, and it just I used it as a training module for them. And these guys, they were so happy. And that puppy is so cute. I'll probably send you the link after the session.
Absolutely. I would
It's a
love to
must
watch.
watch. Yeah, yeah,
I would
absolutely.
love to. But yeah,
And
you're right. Huh.
yeah, so I was just looking at the questions I wanted to discuss. So,
Yes.
especially with this lockdown period, I remember some governments are now talking to let go of the entire zoo, concept because humans have realized how being locked down feels. And it is the same with animals as well. We have locked them for their entire life, and we don't realize how they must have been feeling.
Yeah.
However, now that we know, we must take some action around that. What is your take
Absolutely.
about it?
I completely agree. I am a vegan, and I believe that no animal should be locked in, and no animal should be spend their life like that. And we do it for our own pleasure. We do it so that we can see what they're like, and you know, see them in their so-called natural habitat. But zoos, I'm completely, you know, as a vegan and as an animal, I mean, someone who works with animals, in both cases, I'm totally against. I remember when I had gone to Thailand many years ago, we had seen they have those lions or tigers. They have tigers
Hmm.
that are just sitting, and there's a tiger
Yeah.
sanctuary or something. But I remember some monk flipping a pill to one of the tigers to probably calm them down, and I
Yes.
felt really bad about it.
They
So
make
that
them busy
happens
so
a
that
lot.
they can have tourists can have picture with them, right? Yeah,
Yes, they were
it
doing
must
that.
be there.
And yeah, and there was this baby tiger, and poor kid was locked in a sort of a in an area, and it was a square, and everybody could see him from outside, and it was
Oh,
really upsetting to watch. Um but you know, there are places where I believe there are now places where you have to be locked up, and you can see the animals,
yeah.
you know, in their natural surroundings, which is
Yeah.
nice to see. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, zoos and all, it's so great that the lockdown has brought out so many positive stuff, so much positive, you know, it has had a positive outcome, although it's been really difficult to adjust to it. But
Right.
you know, the sky is clearer, and the air
Yeah.
quality is better, and you can hear birds that you never knew existed, and it's wonderful. I mean, yeah, but I don't think ideas of a zoo is a good idea. But I'm
Yeah.
so glad that people are realizing that how it feels like. I mean, I don't think we would have ever realized had this not happened.
Exactly. Yeah. It just happened because the entire world has been in lockdown. That's it. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we need to understand that we are a part of environment as much as they are a part of environment, and we are just an entire ecosystem synergizing. So we should
Absolutely.
know the who what the land belongs to everybody. There are some fools who think that we own the land and they
I
don't,
know. I
and they want
know.
to move dogs and animals away from that land,
I
and
know.
they make me really mad, and we guys should ensure that they understand what even the law says. um
Absolutely.
yeah,
But
that's
that's so true. I mean, there has to be a balance. So everything that we do because so that we can survive, right, and we can thrive. We take care of the environmental calamities. We build houses. We
yeah,
make sure we have clean water so that we're not. I mean, so everything that we do, and you know, I think development is good, but uh, when we go to more developed, the, you know, if you go to more developed countries, everybody has an AC. Everybody's using a lot of resources, basically, and the more that we use for ourselves, the lesser is available for animals. And they, because we think we are the superior race, we think that you know, we're still a part of food chain, and we're still a part of you know, the way things are supposed to happen naturally. I don't think that you know, it just sort of hits you when you actually see how deep the situation is. We have outnumbered animals to such an extent that we need those resources, and yeah,
right.
I think every person on at an individual level through this lockdown also has learned that even if we have the most basic stuff, and we have our families, and we have our health, and we have our you know, mental health in place, we don't need much. You know, we don't need to go out and, you know, eat all the time, and you know, like go out and buy the fast fashion. I'm going on another tangent here because
Right, right.
the
Completely, I
environment
agree
is,
with you. I
yeah,
completely agree with you. So we're going by our needs and not wants, and that's
exactly.
something which this pandemic has taught us. And it's to
Yeah,
do with animals also. They never overeat or they never take more than it is required. It's only humans who do that. So
yeah,
so many learnings that we can learn only through observation. So being around animals in itself is such a wonderful opportunity for us to learn and grow. And
absolutely.
yes, Justine, you're absolutely right. We have to voluntarily try and feed in this tough situation because we are getting food, but they may not get food. So
Yeah,
ensure that we are able to feed all of them, and even birds for that matter, and whatever is possible. Wherever you are staying, whatever is possible, please do that, and
absolutely.
definitely help other people uh, do that. Yes, absolutely. There is a negative downside that the monetary support is not there. However, let's see how things are going because mostly developing countries follow what the developed countries have been doing. So,
Yeah,
since developed countries are now planning on doing away with the entire zoo culture, let us see. Probably it comes to India as well, and let's hope that animals are safely put back into their natural habitat and things go in the better direction. These are all, I think, a proper official action has not been taken. It's a dialogue right now. So let's see what roles. But however, whatever the situation may be, let us, at an individual level, try and understand what our responsibility is. I remember long ago, many of my friends and even my family, we have done away with camel rides and elephant rides and all
yeah,
nonsense things because you're sort of promoting all of that and it's not
absolutely.
quite a good thing to do. I did go to Ladakh and there was this double humped camel. I did ride that, but on the condition that we try to understand what they're feeding and how they're taking care of it. Otherwise, it's so sad to see that monetary advantages ले रहे हैं अपने animals and you're not feeding them properly.
Yeah,
It's really and I also happened to, like I was mentioning you as well, when I went to Germany, I saw this wonderful concept of dogs being in the workplaces. And that is something
yeah,
I absolutely loved. I think I am not sure I could not research much on this क्योंकि इंडिया में भी हो रहा है स्टार्ट कल्चर आई एम नॉट प्रिटी श्योर कैफेज तो आ गए हैं इंडिया में बट देन वर्क कल्चर में प्रॉब्ली इट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज पिकिंग अप but then in Munich specifically, it was so wonderful. हर किसी के
yeah,
केबिन में अपना dog था, and they all have their history and सब names and everything is there. And it's so cool. मतलब आपको कभी भी if you're feeling stressed out or something, you can go chill with them, come back and work. So that's a nice
absolutely.
concept.
That's the, oh shit. Sorry. That's the best thing, I think. I mean, I love my job, but when I go, it's normally that I get to hear everything that's negative about the dogs, right? ये नहीं करता, वो नहीं करता. This is the problem. That is the problem. But it's so wonderful to just be able to go and just hug dogs and just play with them. And yeah, it's such a stress buster. I mean, every day I come back home and these two are jumping on my head, smelling me because I've met different dogs today, and they
Oh
do a
yeah.
thorough check, right? They're like, "Kiske dog se milke aayi? My dog did what? You check
How
my clothes."
yeah. पूरा proper inspection होता है पहले ही.
Absolutely.
And yes, you're right. Even horses and these buggies must be done away with. And people are actually shifting. I remember one of my friend who is now a dog owner. He ensured that he'll go in the car and no ghodi and all these things. And I think we need to make that conscious decision क्योंकि supply बंद नहीं होगी, but demand हमारे हाथ में है.
Absolutely.
अगर हम
Absolutely.
demand कम करेंगे तो supply कम हो जाएगी. But
I
we
remember
can't.
when Yeah,
Yeah.
when I got married last year, and we completely did away with all the nonsense because I mean, I think weddings are the biggest polluters.
Yeah.
One person, one day, and extreme pollution. I just sound very negative, I know, but yeah, it's a fact, and I feel so bad for those horses who are right next to the band, and poor guys are just, you know,
Yeah.
ghodi hoti hai, so poor girls are, you know, they have no other option but to stand there and listen and then hold a huge man on their backs, and it's sad to watch. And I think all these nonsense stuff should be done away with. And you know, the reason I'm sharing about my wedding was because we had so much fun. Like genuinely, we had no nonsense, no none of those जो वो rituals होते हैं. But we just had fun, and the best part was my parents had so much fun. Parents usually
Oh,
don't get
that's
to
what.
have
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
right? So my parents were so happy, and then finally they realized it was a struggle, honestly, but I fought for it, and we both fought for it. And yeah, we just felt like for one special day of ours we can't torture so many animals. So you know, we had a vegan, no animal product based wedding, and it was such a good feeling. So I just thought that I should mention that that's possible, and I think more people should start doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Having said that, I don't know if you've been practicing vegan for quite some time or you recently shifted, but just a general question: what do you think of people who love dogs only and they eat all other animals?
I think they just don't. I think it's a little unfair to only be in love with one species, because they never had contact with other animals, maybe, or they never felt that they are other animals are, you know, as intelligent, as receptive. So when I read this thing, when I remember I used to go through this page about this pig who was rescued, and then I got to know that pigs are actually even smarter than dogs. It's wonderful
Oh, okay.
to see that they're even smarter. They can understand so many more things, and you know, people have trained chickens. People have trained uh, birds. People have trained
Yeah.
pigs. So they're all very intelligent, perceptive animals, and we just to be honest, my dogs are on a meat-based diet, but we are
Mm.
not. I mean, they are. It's
Mm.
appropriate for their species, not
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah.
Many people argue that it's a part of the food chain, but honestly, I think we humans have just taken over the whole food chain thing, and we're. I mean, we feel like we're on top, but we're really not. We're just
Right.
protected. We're just yeah. We just have the brain.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel. I think people should open up their minds to and research about how smart cows are, how smart and
Mm.
intelligent and perceptive pigs are, how smart chickens are, and you know, then we should. Uh, also a matter of personal choice. So after I've been a vegan for about almost I've been a vegan for almost I think 5 or 6 years,
Well,
and now my father has I've been managed to convince him into becoming a vegan. But the rest of my family is they're still vegetarians, and
mm.
yeah, it's a matter of personal choice. So I think just when you see something that moves you, like when Joaquin Phoenix gave his speech at the Oscars. It moved so many people, and it was so wonderful that somebody at that stage could address this and you know, brought it into brought it to notice.
Yeah.
It was wonderful
Yeah.
to watch.
Right. You're absolutely right. Isn't it fun? I thought they give me food. I'm done.
So he
But
looks.
I was not expecting her to stay all this while. I mean, she's been a very good sport, and I can see her staring at me. All that. Okay.
Now she looked at the camera and bugged. Snowy, Snowy, Snowy.
High five. High five.
Nope. Food, best food.
She's so funny. Yeah, and I think we've covered a good amount of things. Although we have had so much of distraction, and
Yeah.
we've
It's the
managed
best
to
kind of distraction.
absolutely. I'm so happy because now today she's officially with me on Instagram Live. Otherwise, whenever I do a live, she sits in near my tripod and my and she's always like, "Hey, open the door. Let's play. Let's play. What are you doing? Why are you sitting there?" So
Yeah.
now everybody can get to see her finally. Yes, going. All right. We're just winding up 2 minutes. All right. She needs a so okay, and yeah, thank you everybody for joining in. Just a small little recap. She is a dog, a behaviorist and a trainer, if that is right, and I'm a mental health professional, and we try to understand the commonalities between the entire. Yes, she's not hungry, but I think she really wants to play, and this is how
Yeah.
she plays.
She's playing tag.
It goes mad. So we covered the commonalities between how animals help us in various therapeutic ways, and how they're so good for us in our mental well-being, and making us understand how humanity is really built, because we are
Absolutely.
humans. We sort of have wisdom, but we sort of don't know how to use it right. But if we
Yeah.
learn these things from them, who are these guys are so pure souls. As a fun fact, by the way, we guys listen to satsang every day, and I think she's some spiritual being who came to our family, because she sits down, listens to the entire satsang very quietly. That's very strange. So I don't know. There is some connection. She's probably
I
discovering her
know what you
spiritual
mean.
side also.
My pug does the same thing. So whenever there's been
Wow.
any kind of a puja or anything in the family, he's the first
Yeah.
person to sit. He sits right in front, and he's just there throughout. And he's an old guy, right? So he doesn't even get up for
Yeah.
water. He doesn't get up when the bell rings. At that point, he's just there. And
Wow.
my dad is learning how to play the sitar. So each
Wow.
day, every day when my dad comes in practices, this guy sits right next to the sitar for the entire duration and listens, and then gets up only when my dad gets up and winds up. So I don't know. I mean,
Amazing.
he's so receptive to music. It's just amazing.
Wow, that's pretty nice. I'm going to try that
Yeah.
with her sometime, playing some sort of instrument or playing it
I
on
think he
YouTube.
also feels better because I mean I would definitely feel better. At least I think he feels like at least somebody is listening to him, right? He's got a constant companion when because we all get bored of sitar and he keeps calling us sun lo, and then after a while you're like okay, but he's there every day. It's been 6 years now, and yeah, he's when my dad used to so he used to learn vocal music. Noddy
Mm-hmm.
was the first person to be there on the mat.
Okay.
Everybody
Okay.
else had to adjust themselves and
That's
sit around him, but he's the main
He's
person.
the
He's the
king.
chief guest.
See, you guys adjust.
Yeah, yeah.
If
I'm
you're
going to be
right,
here.
first time with it, you guys can adjust however you want. And I think
Yeah,
we've packed way too much, and deservingly so. They deserve all the love in the world.
I
Um,
know they do.
yeah. With on that note, we'll probably wrap up today's session, because Instagram Live gives us 1 hour for Instagram Live, and I think we'll wrap it up in a minute or two. And thank you so much, everybody who tuned in, who are live right now with us, and who have probably joined in for some time.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Aishani. You've been a great sport, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy we could interact in this manner, and we could
Me
discuss
too.
this interesting lines between mental health and dog training, which I really
Yes.
wanted to do. And I'm so happy we could do that. Lots
I
of love
me
to
too.
both of
I'm.
you. Those a very, very
Thank
happy
you.
birthday to you, Kaya.
Arya.
And
Yeah.
best wishes to you. Do
Thank
wonders, and
you.
probably later we'll definitely try and catch up after the lockdown is over.
Yes, I think we should. We
Yeah.
should.
And guys,
I
follow
would
her.
like.
She's doing an amazing job. I saw some of your training videos, which I will also benefit from after some time. And guys, follow her. She's doing an amazing, amazing job.
Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thank
happy to
you.
see that.
Thanks to everyone who was here, and thank you for hosting me, Kriti. I had a wonderful time. So did these two.
Yay.
They got a
Thank
lot of
you.
treats, and I'm sure so did
Oh,
Snowy
yes.
because today was,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
exceptional
Now
treat
she's
day for
happy
her.
and
Yeah.
yeah, she's very happy and content now. She's probably lying down somewhere, chilling.
अब हो गया आज का, है ना?
So,
That
yeah.
had fun. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Stay
Thanks.
safe. Stay
You
healthy.
too. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.